welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys, this is your first time listening to the Win with Dice podcast. It's a podcast where we talk about tabletop RPGs, running them and playing them. Calvin and I like to take a casual approach to the hobby, and we just like to talk about the games that we run and the games that we play in. So if you haven't joined this hobby, you can go ahead and start. Or if you've never GM'd before, you can just jump behind the GM screen and become the GM of your table.
Yeah, we like to demystify running games, and hopefully more people hop over to the other side of the screen because it's really fun to do. This week we have a session of Pathfinder we wanted to recap that features the would-be heroes trying to make their way through a regular school day. But before we get to that, we have to get to the most important part of the show, the Win with Dice Weekly GM Tip of the Week.
Yes, the Win with Dice Weekly GM Tip of the Week, brought to you by Ramon. Well, brought to you by Ramon and inspired kind of by Matt Koval a little bit, as I guess a lot of GMs out there. I think his last running the game episode, like official episode, was on, I'm forgetting what the TSR game is called. But it was an old TSR game that he was just kind of running through, and it was kind of like this fun house dungeon. I think it was the first D&D game you ever played in. But so I pulled it up and checked it out, and honestly, I think if you were a GM just kind of looking for a little bit of something to put into your homebrew world that's kind of quirky, the old TSR, like D&D 1, D&D Advanced, I forget what it was called, D&D 2, those AD&D, or any sort of old school tabletop RPG material has a lot of fun kind of small, succinct little bits that you can just chuck into your world. Back in the day, they usually focus on dungeons specifically, right? Nowadays, just this big sprawling story is what the tabletop RPG community is kind of known about. But now you can just take those smaller little dungeons, these little single entities of story and plot, plop them into your world somewhere, and then if you players stumble across it, or maybe put it in front of your players, just to kind of work through or inspire you for some ideas. I think going back through the old catalog is a great way of making your homebrew world feel pretty cool, because you don't have to come up with all the stuff, so you can just take stuff from just I was gonna say recycle because it's green, but usually you get them for pretty cheap or for free, and it gives you can dip into the history of the tabletop RPG history or community or whatever.
Yeah, it also helps you I've done that before for when I was working on my mystery game, and I didn't take the exact plot of it, but it gave me a good structure to work with because that was my first time running any type of game like that. So I didn't take the exact same story. I had okay, they have certain kinds of clues here, they have certain kinds of characters here, how do I make that work for me? As well, again, some of them are short, smaller adventures. There's a lot of really good 3.5 stuff out there that you can, with some legwork, convert to Pathfinder. Either Pathfinder edition, really. I guess converting it to a Pathfinder first edition would be a lot easier. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of good stuff out there. You just might have to put some effort into looking for it and knowing how to actually acquire it, or just read about it somewhere and let it give you an idea.
Yeah, it was called Amber Castle.
Okay.
Yeah. And sorry, just to kind of I was reading through Amber Castle. If anyone ever runs Amber Castle, it's hilarious. There's lots of wacky stuff to be and this was his first introduction, I think, for the way that everyone envisions their first game of Dungeons and Dragons. This is not the first game of Dungeons and Dragons you'd envision. But I just wanted to kind of point out that Castle Amber is actually based off of someone's novel. So, and it's someone's novel set in like a French oriented fantasy world where kind of a little bit more Alice in Wonderlandy, and that kind of could be very inspiring, because D&D doesn't have to be box standard kill a dragon or whatever. You can just go kind of off the walls with it if you want to. It'd be fun to switch things up every once in a while too. So yeah,
cool. All right, well, I'll link to the Koval video below in case y'all want to check that out for more details.
Yeah, you can definitely get a copy of Castle Amber pretty cheaply, or on the high seas, I guess, if you wanted to. There you go, folks. There's your tip of the week.
All right. Okay, well, let's get into the recap of this episode in the Kadfael Adventuring Academy, which features a handful of students as level 2 now characters who are trying their best to save their school from perhaps imminent destruction. We have, I'm trying to remember everybody's character. We have Scarlet, who I believe is a sorcerer.
Yeah, she's a sorcerer, but she's a half undead vampire sorcerer.
Because she's cool and edgy like that. Arbitrarius, who is a human paladin, I believe.
Yes, he's a human paladin, follower of Saint Corbin.
Saint Corbin, very sporty, very important deity in the world.
Yeah. So Scarlet's the goth, and the hot goth girl, and Arbitrarius the hot jock man.
Jock / hall monitor.
Yeah, jock / good guy. He's the paladin, I guess. Yeah.
We have your character, Grimes. I think he's a tiefling sorcerer.
Yeah, he's a tiefling demon, specifically sorcerer. Yeah. He's the resident troublemaker.
The bad boy.
Bad boy. Yeah, he's not even a bad boy. He's just like, Grimes is just like, he's the troubled kid in class. He comes from like the wrong side of the tracks, but he's actually nice, but also he just doesn't care for rules.
Yeah. But he's got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
And then there is Artheon Valzarian, also known as Artie, the half-elf alchemist and the nerd archetype, basically, as they all fall into different typical high school movie tropes.
Yeah. We got ourselves a little breakfast club of the jock, the goth, the troublemaker, and the geek. The nerd and the geek. Yes.
It's weird I'm doing that twice. I'll talk about that maybe when I'm doing like the shout-outs and stuff, because I'm doing the same thing over at Untold Stories Project.
That's funny.
But yeah, they are going to the Kadfael Adventuring Academy, which is currently facing some issues as funding for the school is running dry. And worst case scenario, the school may shut down. They've already lost some of the extracurricular programs, and things could get worse. And the students, led by a Professor Gary, or at least asked and instructed by a Professor Gary, are trying to figure out a way to save the school. Now, when we last left our heroes, we were doing what I like to call detective work. After an incident where we helped save the school garden, we were sort of sneaking around trying to figure out what was going on. We were looking about the headmistress's office. We were in the middle of doing just some research into like what was going on with her, what was going on with her family, because her sister was about to be married to a local businessman who I still think is kind of suspicious. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's got rich dude syndrome, right? It's like, oh, this is, and I think like, I don't know, maybe it's like, he just like, in all of the stories, it's always like, the rich dad is the problem, or the rich guy is the problem. I don't know. I think it's because like, the Riverdale series, just always thinks of Hiram. Hiram Lodge is always the bad guy behind everything, and like he's got a lot of Hiram energy, right? Even though we never met the guy, that's all I'm thinking about.
I've never seen Riverdale, but I feel like that's correct. I don't know. I'm just suspicious of the guy in general. But you're probably right. Oh my gosh,
Calvin! If you ever watch Riverdale, you're gonna be like, what is this show? And then why is it always Hiram? Like anytime there's like a problem, it's like, and then Hiram was there, and he's like, ha ha, Archie, you and your stupid friends are never gonna get between me and my, I don't know, whatever nefarious reason. It's just like him trying to make more money, but it always is some kind of crazy scheme.
I imagine that's what's going on here. So yeah, as we were looking around the headmistress's office, of the office of Headmistress Celestia Ames, we did find a teacup that seemed suspicious because Headmistress Ames had mentioned she wasn't really feeling like herself. She wasn't really feeling well. So we were going to have the teacup analyzed for, I don't know, some sort of CSI Cadfael, for some sort of traces of magic poison or something.
Yeah, I don't know what we were thinking about, but or like how it would work, but you know, we have like kid brain on, so I was like, maybe we just take this to the science class. Someone there would figure it out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, which and as well, maybe it was poison. I don't know. It's just really funny. Like, I feel like we're always trying to find something that's not there, but there is something there. Like, I don't know where the mystery is.
So yeah, we got the cup and we were going out to do some investigating. We did, before the game, we did a sort of recap slideshow, which is one of my favorite parts about Rebecca's games. That she has like a whole PowerPoint of like what happened before, just going over some of the characters and some of the events that took place, and doing basically a pop quiz on what happened.
Yeah, which was pretty cool, and it like made me want to do a PowerPoint presentation whenever we get back to playing any of my campaigns, just because I think it's just like a fun way for everyone to be like, oh yeah, this happened, and it would also probably force me to remember stuff as well.
True. It is a good way to like bring facts back and like to remember things about the game and just have them fresh, because it's a question we've answered instead of just like a recap thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a new day at school. We were looking at the bulletin board where things get posted. There was a flyer there about some upcoming events, including the school play, which we had helped out with a bit, because the two key actors were arguing about how they should do. I believe it was Hamlet that they were playing.
Yeah.
But they both wanted to play Hamlet.
Yeah, they both wanted to play Hamlet, and like, I think Bones was gonna play the Skull.
I mean, the role was made for him.
Yeah. Bones is a kid that goes to her school, but he's just a skeleton. But also the most popular kid in school because he's actually just the nicest person.
Exactly. Just a genuinely great guy.
Yeah, generally just a great guy, except Bones can't speak because he's a skeleton, so he's a very good listener.
That's all anyone needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did try to analyze the teacup, but we weren't able to do it successfully on our own. We tried asking Molly, who was another student at the academy, who is also very good at alchemy, and perhaps seems to have a crush on Artie, but Artie will never notice.
Never in a million years.
No. But she was busy talking to Professor Bogrock, who is the alchemy professor, and another student, Gerald, who is a bitter rival. So Grimes just basically yelled out to get her attention. And then Molly took a try at analyzing the cup. She put on 2 pairs of gloves after hearing us mention it might be poisoned. But she wasn't able to find any trace of actual poison in it, so we still got a bit of a mystery on our hands.
You know, now that I think about it, it might not have been the teacup. Maybe it was the tea because she drank it, like, or maybe she's just sick with something else. Like, I have no clue. I was sure we are gonna find something, but then it was like nothing, and I was like, oh, that's. I thought that we missed something, but
maybe it's a sort of magic. Maybe there's like a magic charm or something that's making Headmistress Ames feel unwell.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe she's like tied to the school.
Oh.
When the school's going bad, like she feels sick because she's like, I am a part of the school.
Like whoever the headmaster is also feels bad if something is happening at the school.
I mean, that would be kind of far-fetched. It's like she was a ghost the entire time. No, I'm joking.
Oh, I thought it was just like a title thing. Like as soon as you become the headmaster, if something bad happens to the school, you're just immediately feeling the effect of it.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I know, but it would be fun.
That would be pretty fun. It's just like you sign the contract and it's like you are the school now. Not even metaphorically, but like actually.
Like literally.
Cool. That would be kind of cool. I do like that idea of tying a person to a place. Mm-hmm. Like it's like how the person is like it's how the place is like a reflection of like the person, but like not even like metaphorically, but like actually.
Yeah, like fully literally. Yeah. If there's something wrong with the school, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
I might take that if that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, you know, like how a wizard's tower is like really important to the wizard, and it's like if something got wrong in the tower, maybe the wizard feels it, and he's like, "Oh no, someone's touching my stuff." Like,
yeah, exactly. That's why no one gets away with anything when Headmistress Ames is around.
yeah, right. Despite Grimes' sorry.
Yeah, despite trying, we weren't able to find anything on the cup. Arbitrarius, or Arby, wanted to return the cup, because, again, hall monitor. So we ended up, I don't think we specifically returned it to the office, just because it would have been very difficult to get back in there, but we were planning to leave it in the cafeteria area. Scarlet, who is dating Bones, wanted to go see him. However, Bones was in the middle of a conversation with another student by the name of Iris, who was doing like a card reading, basically, like reading Bones' future, giving him a rather ominous reading, which may come into play later. But while we were down in the caf, some of y'all stopped to get some meatloaf, which was a bad idea.
Oh my gosh, this is like the worst thing possible. So it was like mystery meatloaf, right? You know, because it was mystery meat, and apparently there was like Rucka had like a table, so every time you ate this meat, you would get like a random like
curse
effect that affected you. Curse effect, yeah, right. And you know, we were like, I think it was like a D. It was 3 D10s or something we had to roll, because it was like that kind of chart. But so we just chose numbers like you know, between like 1 and 1,000 essentially. And you know, I chose like 666, and because I was like, demons or whatever, right? I'm so cool. But
yeah.
Turns out it was really bad.
So yeah, like Artie like declined because I had bad vibes about that. Scarlet ended up with an effect where she demanded to be called the Spellmeister for some reason. And then she went back for seconds and grew 3 new organs, which is very concerning.
Yeah, we didn't know which organs they were, but there were just 3 new ones.
Just in there somewhere.
Just chilling in her, which was wild.
Arby suddenly got a memory of his own, like, creation, which was very mind-blowing. I don't know if he's going to be the same person after that.
Yeah, because I don't think Arby even knows his parents or something. Does
right.
He? Yeah, he was like an orphan. He was taken in by the Church of Arbitrarius, and but now it's like, oh, did I find out who my parents were? And he was like, no, you just like imagined you being created, and you feel like you know how exactly you were created. And it was just like kind of more esoteric that way than like actually you know exactly how you were created or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then Grimes got the worst. I don't know. Grimes got the worst one.
Yeah, he sure did.
Where I couldn't cast any spells, and I'm a sorcerer. I can't cast any spells
unless
until
you eat a gold coin.
Yeah, and until I eat a gold coin. So I turned myself into like a vending machine. I'm also the poor kid. So I had like no money, and it's like, oh my gosh. So I basically like went around the whole day trying to get people to give me money so I can cast a spell. Like a chump.
It was very funny because like specifically a spell like happening specifically to a spellcaster that is super inconvenient, but also a poor spellcaster. Like,
oh my god, I was so sad. It's like, damn meatloaf. Every time I go into this cafeteria, something crazy happens.
Yeah, you can't serve this stuff to kids. But I know this is part of the budget problem. They had to go with like the cheap curse stuff.
Yeah, the cheap curse stuff. Oh yeah. So you know, another fabulous day at school. But then after that, I had to go to detention.
Yeah. So Professor Gary came and met with us, and he mentioned that the meatloaf had caused him to age rapidly. But what had happened is that Grimes ended up getting in trouble for, I think Grimes was the one who kind of defaced the paintings, even though they had literally asked for it.
Yeah, they asked us to, update their style because, they've been paintings for so long. They're like, they want to be hip and cool. So we're like, all right, cool, let's give you some cool sunglasses or whatever, right?
Right.
But then turns out that's a no-no, even though the paintings asked, because, they don't have autonomy. They're just paintings. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I get to go to jail.
Yeah, I forget how specifically Grimes was caught, but yeah, Grimes did have to go to school jail.
Yeah, the paintings just told them who did it.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we didn't ask the paintings to keep it secret, but we just never thought that far.
That makes sense.
So yeah, Grimes had to go to detention. But apparently, I thought this was going to be like, oh, I guess Grimes is going to be out for a while before the other players will do stuff. But turns out it was just a prison break the entire time. Where we had to, the rest of the party had to figure out how to break Grimes out of detention because they had mysteries to solve.
Exactly. Which, I feel like we would have gotten in trouble for later, but it was really fun. Yeah, Professor Bogrock was there in charge of detention. Grimes was in there, as well as another student by the name of Hugo, and another student by the name of Michaela, who, I don't know if Grimes and Michaela have a thing, but they certainly had a bit of a split after Grimes sort of pointed out that Michaela was stealing some stuff from the caf.
Yeah, well, because the caf before, it was like, who stole the cookies, right? And we were all trying to figure it out. Except Grimes just Ramon, the character, figured it out. And I was like, Grimes just wants to be right all the time, I think. I think he wants to be right rather than,
cares
helping.
about something being stolen.
Yeah, cares about something being stolen or, getting in trouble with somebody or, trying to keep someone out of trouble. So, we figured out that Michaela's the one that stole the cookies. And Michaela's also, kind of like Grimes, where, she does bad stuff. Grimes is mostly in, graffiti and things like that. I think Michaela steals stuff.
Pretty much.
So the resident bad kids of the school. But, yeah, so it turns out, Grimes figured out that it was Michaela. And Michaela was like, yo, why'd you rat me out, man? And I was like, shit, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to be right.
Yeah, so Michaela wasn't too happy to see Grimes again because he was the reason she was in detention in the first place.
Yeah, except the plan was to break everyone out of, I was going to say jail, but detention.
Same thing.
Yeah, and we also had to break Hugo out, even though Hugo is the worst person at the school. He's the kind of the bully. Yeah, he is the bully, I think. But not like a jock bully. He's just a bully.
Yeah, he might be. I'm just trying to remember. I just remember my rivalry with Gerald. I don't know if anything else matters to me.
Yeah, I think Hugo actually, I think maybe is a part of the drama people, but I don't know what clique he runs in, but everyone knows that everyone dislikes Hugo. But yeah, so, we had to get Hugo out or get Hugo to not mess with us or not try to get us in trouble while we try to break out. And in the detention, there were two gargoyles watching us, as well as there was a professor.
Yeah, Professor Bogrock. He was at the front of the room watching the students, and then at this other side of the room where the door was, there was two gargoyles who were also watching the students, and we were strategizing.
Yeah, we tried to do I think it was a Ocean's 11 type of deal where we're planning, while it was happening, we were also planning at the same time. So we're kind of flipping back and forth between what we're actually doing and what we're planning on doing beforehand, kind of retroactive, being oh, this is all a part of the plan. But it was something about sneaking in a stink bomb. Because Artie can make a stink bomb, and then Scarlet can turn into a spider. So we're trying to get the spider to carry the stink bomb into there covertly. Grimes managed to intimidate one of the gargoyles to just turn around, and then I forgot how we dealt with the other one. I think I don't remember what we did.
So yeah, we did try that stink bomb maneuver. It didn't work out super well, but it did get the professor somewhat distracted. And yeah, Grimes was able to intimidate a statue, and Scarlet was able to charm the other statue.
Oh yeah, it was Scarlet Charmed, yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, Arby and Artie were trying to continue distracting the professor. Arby brought like this fake potion that he made and claimed it was about to explode, but Professor Bogrock is just such an alchemist G that he just neutralized it basically instantly.
Yeah, and it turned into like an actual potion.
Yeah. But then Artie managed to help continue the distraction by asking several questions about mutagens that he actually did want an answer to, because I needed to find a reason to create a scene where, because for level 2 I took an alchemic familiar, so I was like, oh god, when am I gonna have a chance to do this? So yeah, Artie and Bogrock were accidentally making a flubber cat while the detention students were sneaking out.
Yeah, so that worked out, and then we got little blubber cat friend, and everybody was out, and then Michaela was she needed us to go get the cookies because she stashed them in Grimes's room, and I'm like,
yeah,
because like I think she wanted to pin it on Grimes if it like came to it.
It might be.
I don't remember.
She mentioned
that's
that,
what Grimes thinks.
Oh well, that's fair. She mentioned that the school officials were gonna search her room, so she hid them in Grimes's room. But I mean, if Grimes feels like this is personal, then
probably not. Grimes is funny.
It feels kind of personal, though.
It feels kind of personal. We don't know yet. We'll see. And everyone keeps trying to ship Michaela and Grimes is like, nah, I don't like Michaela. No one believes it.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So we did make our way to Grimes' dorm room, and it turns out that Bones is his roommate, which we found out. But
which is like, so like Scarlet's dating Bones, Arbitrator spends his summers with Bones, and Grimes is Bones' roommate. Like, it's just really funny that we're all like, oh yeah, Bones is our friend. Except I think Artie also hangs out with Bones, but we haven't figured that one out yet.
They had like a summer project together.
Yeah, it was like everyone's friends with Bones.
Like literally everyone. He's such a good guy. Oh man, we should do some stuff for Bones.
Oh, we should do like Bones' birthday party. That would be really funny.
Oh.
I don't know what Bones' birthday is. That would be pretty cool. That'd be a cool, like, we should do like a secret party. We're not supposed to have a party, but we did it anyway.
Yeah.
Brock, if you're listening, you know what to do.
Like whatever day he was resurrected as a skeleton.
Yeah. Call this Bones Day, right?
Yeah. I want to do something nice for Bones. But yeah, we were searching through Grimes' room for these stolen cookies, and what should we find but tiny winged figures that were flying around as we were attacked by a swarm of essentially evil tooth fairies.
Yeah.
They are attracted to sugar, and they like to attack people's bones. So already Bones' ominous fortune was pretty much coming true. But they flew out, they scattered throughout that floor of the dorm area. Artie handed out potions, and then we had to get into a battle. As Grimes was doing his best to attack these guys without spells.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I think we were just running around because it was also, like, it was everyone's dorms are in that room, are in that floor. So this is like where everyone sleeps, I guess.
I don't know if it was everyone, but there's definitely like a bunch of rooms there.
Yeah. So we're like going through people's rooms, like things are just getting wrecked, and trying to kill these tooth fairies. Every time they like the tooth fairies died, they poofed in this like weird white powder that made you sick and throw up.
Yeah, like the sticky dust that gets stuck to you. I was kind of picturing, I don't know if you've ever seen The Owl House, but they have like these small little fairy creatures where their faces are like basically mouths with like these giant teeth. I was kind of picturing that.
I was imagining Tooth Fairy the movie, which is like a B grade budget, like it's not budget. I think it was a lot of CGI because Tooth Fairies, but it's like this horror that's like about Tooth Fairies. It wasn't very good. It wasn't really that scary. But yeah, that's what I was imagining. Just really super annoying.
But yeah, I mean, either way, pretty scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're fighting these guys. Grimes is doing some intimidation. Scarlet's is like blasting them with ice. RB has a few of them like pinned in one room. Artie did his whole transformation thing, and he was rolling a little better as he turned into like this. He does like this Jekyll Hyde thing where he turns like this furry monster.
It's called Teen Wolf. That's
Wolf.
He becomes Teen Wolf.
Yeah, no, that's better. But yeah, we're fighting these things. Artie and Grimes got sickened by one of the creatures. RB was standing on a desk at one point as he was fighting off one of these creatures. And during the fight, we were wondering, like, where is Bones right now? And at that moment, RB saw a creature flying by holding a tooth, which we were very concerned about. And when we did finally manage to defeat these things, we did find Bones in the room, missing a tooth.
But totally asleep. Like, he didn't even know what was happening. Which is like, because we were like, oh no, these are Tooth Fairies. Bones is basically like one whole tooth. You know what I mean? Like, he's just Bones. So we're like, oh no, these guys are going to nom him. But turns out they just took one tooth. And it was like, not so bad. But I think they were there specifically to grab the cookies because they're attracted to sweetness, right?
Yeah. Although I like to think we saved Bones.
Yeah. Artie's headcanon is like, oh yeah, we're the saviors of Bones. Bones like, thank God you guys are here.
I believe it. So yeah, after we recovered the cookies and defeated the Tooth Fairies, we headed down to the library where we met with Michaela, who revealed that there was someone in town who wanted the cookies. A mysterious man by the name of Bill Liveman, who is very suspect right now.
Yeah. So we all ended up like staking it out. I think most everyone ended up staking it out. This cookie deal, and later that evening,
much.
Even though we're not supposed to be out. And then we got caught by Professor Gary, but we just told Gary to get in the bush.
Yeah, like everyone except RB went out, and RB stayed back to hang out with Paige, who I think is another one of the students with like a focus on athletics and stuff. And then she was having a conversation with RB asking how to spike a volleyball, because apparently volleyball is very important to the Church of Corbin.
Yeah, especially on the beach. That's like where it's practiced. That's a sacred site, is volleyball on the beach.
Oh, of course. So
the ancient customs of beach volleyball.
So Grimes, Scarlet, and Artie were following Michaela to see if they could learn more about this Bill guy. Professor Gary, as you said, did spot them, and then we just like pulled him along with us and told him to hide. And then we see Michaela meeting with this shadowy figure with like this rickety form. His clothing was nondescript, but we did get a glimpse of his face with its very leathery texture. Yeah.
We were like, this guy a crocodile? Like, what do you mean by leather? And she's like, no, just like kind of old and worn. She's like, oh.
Yeah, so this guy is like top of the suspect list right now of people who might be purposely messing with the school. There was a transaction. Michaela got some money, 10 gold, which it's pretty good. Grimes could use some of that.
Yeah, I think Grimes got a cut. I think we're like, let's do the drop, and then we're like, we're gonna get a cut. which is fine. I think we ended up getting some money out of it. But also like the professors showed Professor Gary that how sus everything was.
Yeah.
Maybe he could be this guy, Bill Liveman, or Bill Evilman, as we found out if you rearrange the letters.
Yeah, you were trying to figure out like if the name rearranges to something, like that reveals who Bill truly is, just because this is a new person we've met before. So we're trying to figure out if he had some sort of secret identity, and then in a quick rearranging of the letters. I don't know. It could have been.
Maybe. I mean, Rebecca was very dismissive, but we'll see if Bill Livman shows up again. But yeah, I think that was the end of the session. It was like we broke out of detention, which was, not so graceful. We fought a bunch of tooth fairies and made a big mess that Grimes had to clean up because he didn't want to go back to detention.
Yeah. All in all, I think it was as graceful as we've been for the rest of the game.
Yeah, super fun. Always a treat to play as high schoolers going through the Disney Channel game, essentially.
Yeah, I'm really excited to like delve into basically like the plot of what's going on. Like if someone is trying to bring the school down, like I feel like we're another step closer to figuring out who that is. But at the same time, I just really love the interactions with other students. I like the whole cast that Rebecca has made, along with like their cast sheet of different characters. Yeah, that's just like been one of the really fun parts. Is just getting to know these other characters and then having these moments with them and building that history and those relationships. As is fun in all games, but it just really stands out here because it's such a trope of the high school story.
Again, I'm like super excited for like like a formal dance, like the fair or whatever. Like I think we get co-op placements or
like job placements or
job shadowing.
Yeah, with an adventure.
Cool. Yeah, just like all of the cool tropes. Maybe like the big game. Or like the play has to go on. Like there's just like so much cool like high school teenagery tropes that like would be really fun to goof around in as D&D characters. Again, kind of highlighting how tabletop RPGs can just be literally anything, and it'd be really fun. Actually, I don't know if there's like a tabletop RPG that's just straight up like you are high schoolers and this is just like you have the powers of a jock or something like.
There's a superhero one. I don't know if there's a magic one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just like specifically like has like rules for like how to be a nerd.
Like for those specific interactions, yeah.
Yeah, like the stakes are like super low. Like if you, I'm not aware of any, but most of them are just like you go to school, but then also paranormal shit happens. It's like, yeah, or like magical stuff happens. Yeah.
I appreciate our situation where I get like the stakes are lower than the kind of games we're usually in. But it just really works for. I mean, like we're like level 2, like it just really works for us. Yeah. This is a situation where I think it's fun being low level, as we should be.
Yeah, definitely. I miss it. Sometimes I even in stories that aren't like tabletop RPGs, like I get kind of lost sometimes when it's like the fate of the world rests in the hero's hands to stop the bad guy, and it's like because it's always the fate of the world, and then there's not like there isn't like a losing state where it's like the heroes can fail because the heroes can't fail because then everyone's gonna die, and then it's like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, but if we fail at saving the school, I guess we just don't get to go to school together, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, like the stakes are much more personal when it's not something that we clearly have no choice but to succeed in.
Yeah, right. Now it's just like, oh, if we mess up, it's like sucks for us, but the world can go on. It's just like, it's like very important to the characters, but in the grand scheme of the world, not so important.
Yeah, I think those are really good stakes for a story. Oh, that could be a secret second tip. Personal stakes.
Secret second tip. Yeah, make it so like if the world's in danger, you gotta make the players care about your world. So put the people that you love, they love in danger.
Yeah. All right, but I think that's it for the recap. If there's anything else, I'm sure Rebecca can remind us in the comments. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the game?
No, I don't think so. I think it was pretty fun. Although, like, I think lately I've been kind of stressed out about being a player. I think I need to go GM some games. I need to get out.
Yeah.
Something about the lack of control. I'm like, I don't like this. Give me my screen back.
Yeah, fair.
I'm starting to get a little antsy at the fact that I can't just like make stuff up and it'll just happen.
Yeah, no, I've had moments in my head in some other games where I'm like, I want to like just go into describing a certain thing, but then I'm like, I don't want to steal the spotlight from the person who's actually running the game here.
Yeah, it's not my place. Yeah, I should probably get off my butt and run a game, and then I'll be like, oh, I miss being a player, and then I'll just go back and forth. That's what I need.
Yeah, you're in the other side of the swing right now.
Yeah.
Give it some time, and then you'll pendulum back to the to the other side. All right. Bit of a shorter episode today, but we just wanted to focus on that one game because it was really fun, and it happened a while ago, so we've had this recap in the can. We've been doing a lot of Pathfinder recaps lately because they all kind of built up.
Yeah, get back to our bread and butter, apparently.
Back to our roots.
Back to our roots. Yes, the Pathfinder recaps.
Yeah, we'll do more Lancer stuff soon, I'm sure. All right, but we can roll into the outro. Since I offhand mentioned Lancer, if you're into Lancer, go ahead and scroll down and check out all the third-party Lancer creators who are linked below. There's a ton of awesome stuff down there. And of course, if you want to see more things on this channel, there are weekly gaming streams that occur on this channel on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. The Thursday game, there were some polls. The polls were run, and the votes were cast. And the new game for Thursday is going to be Sims 4. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know what to expect from that because I haven't played a Sims game in years, and even then that was like a friend's house, so I don't know how to handle Sims personally. So
how do you win? How does that game end?
I don't know.
A Skyrim situation where it's like Sims stream episode 1000.
I've been told that there are like challenges you can do in a Sims game. So I might look into those, or I might just mess around for a few weeks. I don't want it to be a forever thing, because I like the Thursday time slot to be like a story game. But we'll see what ends up happening.
Man chooses the actually infinitely replayable game.
Hey, it wasn't me. It was the voters.
I don't know, Calvin, who put that on the list? I think it was you.
Okay, well, it's like a quarter my fault, but blame the people who voted for it.
Quarter of your fault. Okay, man.
Yeah, so we'll do that for a bit, and then probably, we'll see how it goes. I think I can get like at least a couple of months out of Sims and enjoy it, and maybe charge them challenges and stuff. Like, I genuinely don't know what will happen. This is the most out of my element I've been in a stream game since like Dead Space, so we'll see.
True.
But otherwise, yeah, that's what's going on the channel currently. And of course, Friday is Skyrim. And Sci-Fi Sunday is currently Mass Effect 3, and then probably Dead Space 2 and 3 when that finishes. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the Untold Stories project, where I'm at on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, playing in their superhero games, including Freedom League Dark and Gemstars with our magical girls in a fantasy world. The Gemstars are getting their gems back after the little switcheroo episode. And the Freedom League Dark is, we're split up, we're separated. Well, Bowman is separated because apparently he has to be tested by the universe for whatever reason. You know, I think I earned my stripes there, universe, but okay. And additionally, also on the Untold Stories Project channel, they started their Heroes of Tomorrow podcast, which is essentially, Hero High, sort of like Young Justice, Teen Titans, Young Avengers, teen superhero story. So if you want to see me play another nerd, or listen to rather.
Nice.
Yeah, I have like a super speed, super nerdy character over there that's been very fun to play. I have like a Wikipedia page open when I play the game, so I can just like spat off a random fact about whatever thing we're dealing with at the time and make it sound like I'm a person who knows things. So it's a lot of fun to do. It's on all sorts of podcast platforms. I'm listening to it on Spotify, so I can listen to it on my phone, but you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. But that's all I've got. There's probably other stuff, but if there is, I've shared it on Twitter, so check that out.
Cool.
Ramon, anything else you want to mention before we head off?
No, I think that's it.
All right. For all of our detention-bound GMs and players out there, just remember to keep on winning with dice, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.